These steps are going to walk through the process of setting up a folder for testing the live server and then opening up that test in Visual Studio Code and running live server. So here in the CS-102 folder that I created, I'm going to create a new folder and just call it test. It can be anything that you'd like to name it. I'm going to delete it when I'm all done here anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it's called. You just need to remember what it is. Now, once I've got this folder created, to open up in Visual Studio Code, I can right-click and open with code. Once code is running, you'll see the name of the folder that it opened, which is test. And if we had any files in there, we'd have a list of files, but it's empty, so there are no files listed. So let's go ahead and create one. We're going to click on this button, which is New File, and we're going to give it a name of test.html. Again, doesn't matter what it's called. It does need to end in .html for this to work correctly or easily. So now we've got a new folder in here, and it's empty. So to create a quick, simple, basic HTML web page, VS Code has a shortcut, which is Shift-1 or Shift exclamation point. And it gives us a couple options. We're going to just click on this first one, which is a single exclamation point, and it creates a basic empty web page for us. Now this is not going to render anything on the browser because the body between these two tags here is empty, so there's nothing to show. So we're going to add something into this file so that something appears on the web page. So I'm going to put h1, and you can see it created the end h1 tag for me, and then I'm just going to type worked with an exclamation point because we're going to be very excited when we see this. And now I've got a page with some text on it, and this little dot means that I have some changes that I've not saved, so I'm going to use Control S to save it. You can see the dot's gone. You could also go to File and Save if you'd like, and at this point we have a functioning web page. So in order to view it in the browser, we're going to use Live Server, and down at the bottom there's an area here. It says Go Live. When I click on this, it's going to start the live server, it's going to open a browser tab, and it's going to display this page for me. So I'm going to click on it. And now we can see the It Worked tab, or the text, in our new tab. Now, one nice thing about the live server is while it's running, any changes that we make here in VS Code will automatically get put on that web page for us without having to reload, start and stop, or anything like that. So I'm going to add a second tag here, and I'm going to make it an H2, and I'm going to put in some more text. Okay, and as soon as it's unsaved, as soon as I save this, it's going to get updated in the browser tab for me. So save. And then when we look at the browser, we can see the new thing that was added. So I didn't have to stop anything or reload or close the tab or anything like that. As long as VS Code is running and Live Server is still running, and we can tell here the Start button we click now just says port 5500. That's a default. We don't need to worry about that. But that just means it's running. And every time I save, then I will see updates in my web page. And that's whether you make updates to your HTML or your CSS files. Any changes you make once they're saved, you will see the result of that right here. Now the last step when you're all done is going to be to turn off the live server. And step one is to go back here to VS Code, and where we started it, we're just going to click to close it. And at this point, Live Server is gone. It stopped running. However, the tab is still there. So we do need to close the tab is no longer working. So if we make any changes, nothing's going to change. It's just kind of stuck. So this is a good time to close that tab just so we don't forget. Looks like I had another tab open before I started this video. And at that point, we have verified that live server works and a little bit about how to start and stop it, and then how to use it in VS Code to make our changes and work quickly and see the results right away.